Welcome to Hemp Sisters Nation, where you don't need a reservation. I said, Mama, the Lord stand with open arms. Here to warn you with the one more time. Yeah, one more time, baby. Welcome to the nation. I said, welcome to the nation.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
And welcome to the season 4 opener of the Hempy Hour. I am your girl, Mama Epps.
Lolo Carter.
Lolo Carter. Together we are the Hemp Sisters. It is also our 2-year Hempy Hour anniversary.
Just so much to celebrate.
Guys, 2 years already.
So who are we celebrating with?
We are...
I was like, the cork's
cheers.
already
We've already drank this, guys. I don't know who we're kidding. Salud, though. Kevin. We're talking to our guy, Kevin, today.
AKA KingZiLLA.
That dude. The best, guys. The best. We have the most incredible conversations. We've been talking to Kevin for years. He's our most, by far, our most favorite guest.
He really
He's our
is.
favorite.
Yeah.
He is most favorite? That doesn't sound right.
Should we make up our own rules?
We drank a lot of wine.
Anyway,
you know what?
yeah.
This is what's most favorite, guys. That's what's most favorite. Okay.
That was it. Oh, look at you, got the last of it.
There we are.
What's your palate?
What are we doing? What are we doing now?
Oh, we were talking about Kevin. So Kevin's company, he's been on every season opener with us.
Yes.
His collaborations with Manic Expulsion, Blake. They recently International Man of the Year for Wigwam. That's a UK station. Sorry.
Yes.
Station.
And our girl Sadie-Sha.
Sadie-Sha.
Yes.
Yeah.
So very cool. Yeah. We're very proud to be associated with such fine people. And like we said, we love him. Kevin's fucking awesome. So
yeah. Music, politics, love, human nature
Gen
on
X,
its way, just
Gen
waiting
X
for you.
Through and through, like my Lolo and I, as you guys know. So it's a very like-minded conversation, and we hope you will enjoy. So without further ado,
us in the future or past?
Ado. Oh,
it's the past.
You decide.
You know, Sadie always asks me, she goes, "You don't smoke?" And I go, "No, Sadie, I'm already there."
It's incredible.
Yeah.
That's a fucking great answer. Not all of us need it. We're already there. That's makes sense.
And I'm like, I will meet you there.
Yeah. I'm already there. She, you know, because I'm different. You know,
we're all a little different.
Rightfully so. Everybody deserves to be their own person, be in their own lane.
Hell yeah.
You know, God didn't create you to be exactly like everyone else and walk down a strict, narrow road and wear the same clothes. And, you know, that's just not what you are to be. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's interesting, especially in today's situations, on how that's where I feel in the country, they're trying to make us go down the same road. Accept things that, you know, that maybe you as a person, you're not comfortable with. It's not that you hate them or that you have a prejudice or hatred. It's just that it's not your thing. So why should you have to accept that?
It's funny you mentioned that, you know, about like being who we are, and the biggest challenge as an adult is like learning to love that. You know what I mean? So it's such a contradictory message, you know, that's being spent, because it's like supposed to be a message of love and acceptance, but you're not even allowed to apply it to yourself. And
what a mind fuck. You go through school where you're told, you know, be your own person and be unique and embrace you because of the bullying and the hate and the shit you actually go through as a kid. But then you become an adult and they're like, whoa, we didn't mean that. You'll be what we tell you to be, or we're going to label you something god awful, and then you're thrown into that box. You know, just where did we just run amok and allow this to happen?
It's the structure of our society and how we learn to work with each other, and it's a snowball that has just went down the hill at 300 miles an hour now.
Well, you know, Hollywood is a big component in today's situation, right? They have a lot of power and influence on how, you know, people eventually will behave, act, Um, and one of the saddest things is that if you don't go along with what they are pushing, what they are speaking, your career is over.
That's it.
Oh yeah.
And we've seen that. They've canceled a lot of people whose opinion didn't go along with what they're pushing, and they're
Well,
done.
then outside of canceling their career, they take it up a notch and they make you look like you've lost your fucking mind, and now you're in a straight
Absolutely.
and you're mentally ill. But you know, on the other end, you're supposed to embrace mentally ill people, but not when we tell you that they're crazy and don't listen to them. You know,
Right.
you're like, what is happening? All he did was voice an opinion or give you something else to think about. No one wants to
Yes.
think. They don't want to think.
We're always subject to external stimulus to teach us how to be, because that's what society is. But that used to be like our family and our parents. And now other entities with technology have allowed such a larger voice to hit home that it actually shuts down the family voice and even like, close community stuff. You know what I mean? It's a lot. Like what's the way to get out of it? Like you have to unplug in some way. And then you're kind of in another category even with that.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough, and I just feel for my grandchildren, your children, anyone that has young ones that you're having to bring up in this mess right now. It's not easy.
Right.
And it just seems as we're getting deeper and deeper into this rabbit hole of what this is. It's for me, it's troubling. A lot of times I get really speechless on it because, man, I don't know if America will be America in another 10, 20 years.
Completely agree.
It's
We're already
scary.
there in many ways. We're old enough to know what our childhoods were like, and they're just so starkly different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're just equipped with different skills than the generations after us. And that is fearful because to even let them learn those things is kind of a smack. It makes them different against their peers. It's there's no answer here really. It's
when we're seeing the most atrocious things unfold in real time. 3 or 4 years ago, I lost 1,000 people online for saying that that the social credit score was coming. But you knew it was coming. There wasn't a fucking doubt it was coming. Maybe it wasn't going to be in our backyard the first day it rolled out, but it just fucking rolled out in Australia. Everybody's fucking face on camera. If you're not happy, if you don't have the fucking rainbow up your ass that morning, you go on this list, and if you're not happy enough, the police are involved. Like that. It's like level 5 of you didn't have the best day ever. You woke up being just fucking human. And now we own you. That's happening. That unrolled the other day at midnight. And you saw what Australia did during COVID. So that's the start of what it's already happening in China. China beat Australia. But everyone's like, oh, it's China. It's different. No, the fuck it's not. No, the fuck it's not.
Yeah. A really good friend of mine's son was in Australia during that whole thing. And he would, write home to his dad and tell him, hey, yo, man, this is what's going on. They would go to the corner of the block and there was someone armed there asking, hey, where you going?
Right.
Why are you out of the house? That type of thing. So
imagine.
No.
Don't you feel like that was a test
100%.
in a lot of ways leading up to something next time that's going to be bigger?
Well, I 100%. As you sit there through 2 years.
We need another bottle of wine. We weren't prepared for this.
As you sit there for 2 years trying to understand, I'm like a person that's you're never going to be satisfied, always chasing the why on any issue, whether it's something that's off or whatever. I'm always trying to play devil's advocate with it because that's where you find the why in the middle. But I kept thinking what a great way for our government to have this social experiment to really see when they push hard what the people do. Do they comply? Do they run? Do they fight? Do they whatever? I mean, it's these little social experiments where it helps to prepare people that look at that. You can only control a society by one thing, understanding the psychology of it, period. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's about how human beings react, you know, that is an evolutionary thing. And so I always thought of it like just, you know, these things and the pushback. And then you can see because how the responses have changed to things like wear the mask, don't wear the mask, this, you know, all these things that we've gone through. And to see how society shifts. You know, where are the anarchists? Where are the where, you know, again, 100% psychological and strategic all the time. Because we're too many.
Yeah.
We are too many. We are too many. And if we ever got that through our head and organized, like we would change our government completely.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Well, hey, you know, I have no hesitation in saying I don't trust them. And especially a particular party and what they've done and what they continue to do. I don't trust them. And I'm sitting back enjoying what times and freedoms I do have.
Sure.
Producing my music.
Yeah.
And just living the life that, you know, I at the best that I can, right? Because we live in a world of uncertainty. You just don't know what you're going to wake up to tomorrow, right?
Absolutely.
And if you're fortunate enough to wake up, because tomorrow is not promised to any of us. So, you know, I really do believe in if you have gifts or some type of talent that, you know, you can find some type of escape or expression in, man, do it. Don't procrastinate. Don't sit on it. Just do it. Move forward with it. You know, be the best that you can. And also, don't get bogged down with what's going on social media, because I think for a lot of people, they could look at how someone else is doing something really good that they want to do. And then maybe that makes them feel a certain kind of way, like, oh man, these people really shine at this. Who am I to do that same type of thing? You know, and because, you know, even I get asked that all the time. Hey man, why aren't you making, you know, drum videos, you know, of you playing drums? And I'm like, well, that's a young man's game for me. You know, this is my new playground. You know, um, I played for musicians to get the respect of other musicians for many years. And I'd rather be a people's musician by writing a song or producing a song that they like. Maybe the message in it is helping them get through the day. Because you know me, man, I don't talk the sex talk and all that other stuff in my music. I'd rather talk about something that's going to maybe help you become socially aware or help you better love yourself, or you know, something on that nature. So we don't embrace that type of stuff. So I'm really blessed to be working with Blake and Sadie-Sha, because they don't bring that type of energy to me, and I don't bring that energy to them. We're more like, yo man, let's talk about this. Like earlier when we were talking about the mind screw that's going on with Americans, we actually have a song called that we have called Mind Screw. And man, Blake did a really good job on it, talking about how basically, you know, people are being through events put into a dark space where suicide has become one of the number one means in which people are taking themselves out in America. Up in Canada right now, they have a situation up there where they have a suicide assistance program.
Oh, fuck. I bet they do.
And for 2022, they had over, I believe, 20,000 assisted, you know, helping people kill themselves.
Oh my God.
That's a lot. So, I was first introduced to the assisted suicide. Actually, it was an HBO documentary, which back in the day was like Vice, you know. But you know, they had it was late stage terminal. You know, it was in Oregon actually, and it was really just to help people gain control of their death, meaning, you know, not letting their family plug them into a machine for 40 years, just to have them as a plant in the house and things like that. But you see how, you know, Dignity in dying, I guess, is where that was kind of started with. But 20,000 people every year in Canada, it's a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, that's what I read in a
Process,
report
Right.
for
before you get there. That's a lot.
2022. It was over like 20,000 assistant deaths they
That's a
helped
lot.
with. Now,
Wow.
you just got to get to a place where people can look at themselves in the mirror and have love for themselves, right? I mean, like, I have this discussion, right, with people, especially towards, black men killing each other, right? So I'm gonna go into this real quick with you because it's something that in 2023 we really need to discuss because I'm so tired of organizations like Black Lives Matter and all of this type of stuff, which they're a true lie, right? That's not real, right? They only come out when a white person or a white cop or something that can actually create a divisive division,
Right.
and all of a sudden a black life matters. But if we really look at it, black lives, black men, I'm a target on black men, we are killed more by other black men than any other race in America. Thus, you could say the same thing for a white man in America. More white men kill white men than any other race in America. So what is that really saying? What
It's
that's saying
demographic in
is,
that part, but go ahead.
yeah. So when a brother wakes up in the morning, the first thing that needs to happen is if he looks in the mirror and he has love for himself, then he could truly love thy neighbor as he loves himself. But if he looks in the mirror and because of the environment or things that have happened to him to put a certain mindset or an emotion, and he goes, I don't like looking at me. So then when he walks out his front door, he doesn't have empathy for the other person that looks like him. He doesn't have compassion and love for that person that looks or resembles him. So he doesn't have a problem with killing that other person and showing no emotion or anything about doing it. And that's where the first change has to happen. And to me, it's like, where is Black Lives Matter for that? Why aren't we marching to make sure that black men stop killing black men? You don't see them with that.
Powerful.
So I have an issue with that. I have an issue with a lot of the stuff. And look, my views are not commonly accepted by other brothers. As a matter of fact, in a lot of ways, I'm probably considered the Uncle Tom type guy. But understand, man, I'm very pro-black. I love being in the skin I'm in. I understand what we've gone through, but also understand that there's powers and things at work that have set the ultimate seed of a mind screw situation in us to keep voting, to keep believing, to keep acting a certain way. And the shit's just fucked up. It's not right.
Don't believe the hype. We go back 30 plus years. Don't believe the hype.
Yeah, I mean, so and that's why with Sadie-Sha and Blake, we choose to stay independent.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because check this out. When you're looking at record labels, look at what they do. They pick young people, right, that are very talented. They have gifts. Okay, we can make money off of this person, right? But there is a certain message that they feel is going to sell, right? So if a female rapper, all she wants to talk about is her private parts and how she could put it on you a certain kind of way, they're going to push that over a female that comes in and she's really talking about love and building up the community and that type of vibe. They're going to say,
Well, you nailed it. I don't mean to interrupt you, but you nailed it earlier. You talked about a man staring in the mirror. If he can't recognize love in himself, he can't recognize love in others. If you are selling something to be able to connect with somebody and share your journey, they have to be able to at least have an experience to identify it, or it doesn't matter. You know, so when when you got the woman talking about, how she makes her money and that's how she does it, these girls that are seeing that and actually fighting to protect that artist, like, no, because she's empowering and she's this. You can only assume that in her life, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Those are the people that she's around. So the sad part about all of that is that to understand at the end of the day, how many little girls and boys have that situation that they can identify with.
Absolutely.
And that's terrifying. That's terrifying.
And then you got WAP winning the Grammys for Song of the Year. Here we are. Great job, Mary.
Right.
Two Live Crew was banned. Two Live Crew was banned. WAP wins a Grammy. I can't. Like, what has happened in my lifetime?
Well, so check this out. We all in our generation have had an artist that pushed the envelope really far. For me, it was Prince. Prince was the most filthiest, nastiest dude on record. Right? I'm serious.
I mean, he didn't play.
Well, right. That was pretty risky for our age group, for sure. Because our parents listened to, maybe it's
outdoors.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And for the women, it was Madonna. She was pushing the envelope for the young in my age group, because I was in high school. I'm giving away my age now. I was in high school between 1980 and 84.
Okay.
So those two particular artists for the males, it was the Prince thing, and then for the females, it was Madonna. And those two single-handedly changed, man, a lot of stuff, man. I mean,
Madonna was the first concert I ever went to in my life. I was 13. I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, and look, you're really under the influence at that point.
Oh my God, big time.
But there was such a strong, I don't know, for me at least, there was such a strong force at home. Like, I remember watching MTV one day and like George Michael's like, I Want Your Sex came on. My mom was like, had a fucking heart attack on the floor. Ass cheeks, with monogamy. I mean, you're talking to people that were raised by like, my mother was a virgin when she got married, like.
And my mom was like, oh my God, George Michael's so fucking hot.
Right. They were best friends too.
Two very different households.
Hey, did she do a stave dive across the room?
She would have.
I mean,
he couldn't have been any more gay. Like, he was the most gay ever. And my mom's just like, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's something else, man.
Yeah, then driving
all of these people who are so-called hardcore and they sold a certain image, you're finding out, man, there's something else.
Right.
And,
well, you nailed it. They sold an image.
Yeah. Yes, they did.
They just like chameleons. So they just turn into whatever.
I mean, we're talking about George Michael. He talked about that, in his Freedom song. Like, I was a young boy, didn't know what I wanted to be. And, here comes MTV and like, molding him into that,
right.
Like, hide that because that's where he was about to like grow into that, But you know.
Yeah. The industry is, I just choose to stay independent, man, and just work the angles that we can work and continue to just have fun with it.
Can we talk about best international male?
Hey, thank you.
No, seriously, because the Wigwam, that's a UK, through the UK, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Radio Wigwam is out of the UK, and interesting story about that. When I was the drummer, Acid and Pearls, right? That EP,
that's similar to Diamond and Pearls, or no?
This is very heavily printed.
It was a rock thing. It was a very like Jimi Hendrix Experience type.
Ooh, nice.
And look, this story is going to blow your mind, because this is how the KingZiLLA project came to be, right?
Nice.
It was because of what happened to me and Acid and Pearl. So this is a true story.
All right.
So I'm the drummer in the group. We produced everything and recorded everything in this room, right? And so, the leader of the group was trying to find a way to get the music out. And he was like, man, we got to burn CDs. I said, that's a mistake. I said, man, you know, Target turned in their CDs. Nobody's selling it anymore like that. I said, so, but if you want to have them at a live show for people to buy because they've seen the band, it makes sense.
Sure.
But I said, man, we really need to look at the digital platforms to put the music out on. So he discovered 2 different platforms, Ava Live Radio and Radio Wigwam. Well, Radio Wigwam started playing Acid and Pearl songs, and 2 particular songs did really well, and we ended up winning Best Rock Band for 2017.
Oh, right? That's awesome.
They gave an award. So, and I kind of looked at that award as being significant in mine in a way and empowering because, you know, all the work was done in here, right?
Well, not to interrupt, but you have, you know, again, with artistry, you've already kind of explained that you're not there to like catch a label's eye, and you know, there's not a lot of rewards, physical or tangible rewards for artists when you operate like that. It's
right. So you really have to love it
in a way, you know. Yeah.
Right, because there's not like, you know, money flooding in. Actually, you're pouring a lot of money into it.
Sure.
Right.
More than you're getting in returns. That's just what, you know, in the beginning it's like. But the interesting thing was what made me become the KingZiLLA and production and all this stuff was the leader in the group felt that just putting that record out, that we were supposed to like blow up and be this big thing. And he took me to a Miller Ale House. I don't know if you've ever ate at one of those places, but he took me there. And we weren't quite getting along really very well. So he sits me down and he goes, would you like something to eat? And I was like, nah, man, I'm cool. What's up? You know. And he goes, well, man, check this out, man. I'm gonna have to let you go, man, because there's too much black skin in the band. And I'm gonna have to replace you with a white drummer because I think that's why the band is not coming across, because there's 2 black guys in the group. So I'm one of those type people that I'll listen to what you say. I'll chew on it for a week, maybe even a month. I'm just like processing. Yo, man, how I'm gonna come back, man, and get in your ass about what you just said. Now, sometimes that may be quick response, or it may be, you know, I have to sit on it for a minute. And I'm like, you do realize you black, right? And you do realize that there was only one Jimi Hendrix experience. There will only ever be one Jimi Hendrix experience. And there will never be another.
Half the brothers. Why wasn't he a part of the Baby I'll Have to Go?
Yeah. So we had this guy named Scott. This guy named Scott Griffin was the bass player, you know, and he was from that metal band, LA Guns.
Oh my God! I saw them open for White Snake. Thank you.
Yeah,
we're going way back. I was 14.
It's my cherry pie. Sorry.
He was the bass player in the band.
Karaoke hour.
Yeah. So no, seriously, he was the bass player in the band.
That's awesome.
But still,
the leader in the group, man, always picked on me about stuff, and it was very obvious that he had some issues. And so anyway, to tighten up the story, Radio Wigwam says you guys won, because basically I was done with the band. But they wanted the original members to take pictures with the trophy, with all this stuff, and thanking them and all that stuff. So he had to call me. He had to call me.
Well, what do we have here?
And he had to say, hey, yo, Kevin, man, you know, we won the award, and I need you to come back in the band to take these photos. And basically, I gave him a big fuck you. I mean, I really lit into him. I lit into him really heavy.
How much to prepare your speech?
Deservingly so.
I mean, I really let him know you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know, and you have an issue. Apparently you don't love yourself. So anyone that looks like you or resembles you, you're pushing off your own sickness onto them.
Well
right?
said.
That's not my issue. That's not my problem.
Right.
So he absorbed it. He said, yeah, man, you know, you're right. You're right. And he said, but please, please, can you take the picture with us? So I met him, you know, at the
Even though I
release,
suck.
you know, and I took the photo. And even after that, man, he wanted me to, you know, touch up work. And I was just like, no, man, I'm done with you, dude. I'm done. I went off, and that award and doing that, it made me go, wow, the work I did helped this. Why can't I do that for myself?
Yes. That was 2017?
The beginning of that was 2000, end of 2017, where I said, I really didn't feel playing with other people. So let's fast forward to the end of 2019. Blake and I were working together. Sadie-Sha and I are working together. I've got these two groups, and we're just compiling, you know, content.
Yeah.
And I was still randomly going out playing with different groups. And I was saying it in my mind. I'm like, man, I'm ready to retire from playing live, playing other people's stuff. I don't want to be in bands anymore. I don't play well with others. I'm becoming a man. I just want, hey, at least I could be honest with myself.
Yeah.
You're done with the bullshit. But lying to yourself only makes you do shit you don't want to do, and you hate, man, you're backtracking for decades.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you guys, nothing's worse than doing something, especially something you love to do, and you're in this situation where you're like, wow, man,
What am I doing?
I got to do this. I don't want to do this, right? And it sucks. That plain out and simple, it sucks.
This is
right?
a great inspirational talk, because I'm telling you, like, I feel inspired.
Yeah.
I always do when we talk to you, though, but go on, sorry.
Yeah, but and then, you know, so I was telling people, and I was sharing this with Sadie-Sha. I was like, man, I don't want to do this shit anymore. And she was like, well, if that's what you're feeling. And then I was talking with my wife about it, and I was like, I want to retire. And understand something. I was playing for churches. I was playing with gigs with people, and some of these people were very cool, beautiful people to play on a gig with.
Right.
But 2020 came and the shutdown happened. And I went, yeah, I'm done.
Right.
I'm done. I took that opportunity while everybody was forced to stay at home. Man, between 2020 and 2022, I released 5 albums.
Wow.
So, and this year, there'll be another 2 albums. One with KingZiLLA featuring Brother Blake and Manic Sound Expulsion.
Awesome.
But I think what we're going to do, we're going to break the stuff up and just push it as singles first. So, you know, pretty much every month we can release 1 or 2 new songs for the whole year. And then at the end of the year, group the songs together under the record, right? And then
that's a good idea.
Very.
Do it in its entirety, then they could do so. So that's pretty much the plan we have. And I was just happy, man. I was just really happy that 2020 happened. And let me tell you, to this day, I won't play in a church, casino, lounge, or bar right now. I'm not interested. Yeah. I'm only interested in what's going on in this room, building content for the future.
Well, I mean, I think if you made that choice, you'd be like a disappointment to yourself, because you kind of already got into this headspace. You know what I mean? Again, whether it's to be a financial gain or just in your own personal journey, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
the journey is real.
Yeah. But you understand music how we understand music. The kids don't have the same experiences. You know what I mean? Like when you had a band you loved, like you were at the record store and you were digging through, and your life like surrounded this, and the stories of it, and like you were identifying with, the artist, and like just, picking
more of an experience.
Everything was about music. Like it wasn't like, oh my God, you hear Bob? Sorry, Cardi, whatever. But like, but I mean, it was just a different kind of thing. Like music was not only an escape, it was just like this, true expressionism that we could like totally play with.
Yeah.
You
I
know
mean,
what
I'm turning 50 this year. If I hear a song, I know where the fuck I was standing
Literally.
last, when that song first came out when I was 12. Like, you know what I mean? It just immediately.
No, and the cool thing about, again, like when you listen to your music and stuff, again, is like people are so overstimulated with so many different things. Like they're having a hard time connecting with something, you know?
Yes.
Like it's so hard to like connect with something and like have that kind of focus that we were capable of or are capable of, you know? So
well, think about what's being pushed off on people to accept as the thing, to relate to as the cool thing. And look, I'm not being a prude here, right? I'm just saying that it seems like certain elements of things are being pushed too hard.
100%.
The whole thing with sex and gender and all this stuff, it's getting out of hand. And that shouldn't, in my opinion, be the number one only topic you could talk about in a song.
We started right before you jumped on. I was just asking Lo if she had heard about the Jeffree Star thing. So Jeffree Star, some big wig. He's trans or in the community. He's in the community. He's a man that dresses like a woman.
Right.
You know what?
Makeup,
I don't know.
Makeup.
But he's but big. You know, like a lot of followers. Lois, showed me him, got me into him a few years ago, whatever. So he comes out this past week and is like, you know what? I feel like I have to come out. Like this shit's fucking ridiculous. He's like, who the fuck are they? What is they? Like, are you kidding me that you've allowed this? He's like, and it takes someone that looks like me because he's in full makeup and looking beautiful. Right. It takes someone like me to say this for anyone to be like, oh shit. Because if you said it or I said it or Lois said it, we're a bigot and we're a homo
Absolutely.
phobic
Absolutely.
and transphobic and phobic. So I'm scared of so much shit. I don't even know. But so he comes out and just like, this is all fucking stupid. Like, I don't care what you have to say, but take this to the next level and put some thought into what you're all allowing. Like, you got bored. You got bored during COVID and made up a bunch of genders. Like, you can't just get bored and make some shit up and then
he probably single-handedly with saying that made a lot of people at the network or whatever go, hey man, cancel this motherfucker.
Oh, no, he'll be gone tomorrow for sure.
Because he didn't.
Like Caitlyn Jenner shit.
Bruce
Jenner comes out, who is a fucking Olympian, telling no, a woman cannot be in men's sport. Men cannot be in women's sports. That's not how this goes. 20-year-old males cannot compete against 20-year-old females. Like, what the fuck world are we living in?
We're in a world that we're living in that is very. It's not even true. You think the people that sell us this shit all day long go home and talk about this shit? They don't. Them talk about this shit,
right?
Because it's
ridiculous.
It's fluff to them. It's fluff and fairy dust. They don't care about this stuff. They certainly don't care about people that are sitting at home right now, completely confused about who they are, what they are. You know what I mean? And their parents not having the tools or resources to actually help the child in a way where they can nurture this child and help them to love themselves. See, that's the whole thing I can't wrap my head about. If we're talking about loving ourselves and all of those things, how are we even here? If the true objective is to teach people to accept themselves and to, that's where that is. If you can accept yourself, no matter what the fuck is going on around
everything else is null and void.
Nothing matters because you have a different sight on the world.
But they talk out both sides of their mouth.
No, and I'm a person like that because I'm a person that's going through a lot of changes. I mean, again, not even an issue like that, but again, we can only see what we see. That's it. We only based on our experiences. Period. So if my
Lois, with that being said, right? That really comes down to something that even at my age now, I have to keep being reminded of because we are so bombarded with some really atrocious negative stuff that we get caught up in what I'm getting ready to say. And that is, man, we don't know what another person is really going through.
Right.
And it's so easy for us at face value, what we're seeing on the outside, that we create judgment on that person for it. And we got to stop doing that. We don't know to what depths what that person has went through over so many years that helped create what you are seeing on the outside for a moment that you don't like.
Right.
And that's
And you know, I
experience,
have
though.
to.
That's okay. Like, we can't continue to change 99% of people the way, or force them to feeling bad about all of their experiences in life, and not take that in an equation to make one person. Our goal in a community is to make sure that person feels supported, whatever that is that they're going through. But it does not have to be a complete, takeaway of everything that you've learned to become the person that you are today.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a very, very, again, though, we're all caught in the gray of that, and all the words and all of the things that go about that.
Absolutely.
Take this computer, smash it on the floor, walk outside. You don't have the same problems I did 5 minutes ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? 100% not. Yeah.
Well, social media definitely plays a big part in that. I mean, think about this, right? How hard is it to hit the love button on Instagram? It costs you nothing.
Right.
If you view something and it's just not your thing, okay, cool, I get that. But how hard is it if you're seeing the joy in a little girl playing drums and her parents filmed it? And so what if she's not completely in time and blazing with all of these chops? Hey, the little girl is having fun. To me,
All
that's
I do on Instagram is heart. I'm like, heart, heart,
and
heart. That's literally all I do.
Yeah, but Kevin, you're right.
Hit the love button, man. It's not, it's not like it's, hey man, to hit the love button will be $1.99.
Well, it's this overinflated ego where, like, oh, you need me to like your stuff, and if it's not to where I believe it should be, like, fuck you. And you know what I mean? There's some ego involved here that's disgusting.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go back to the same thing. If I'm a 12-year-old kid whose parents are shitty, whose parents don't recognize my own talent, I sit in my room all day by myself with no interaction or whatever. I look at that. I can't even relate with that.
Right.
Me and Gina scroll through and like, oh, look at her all, that's cute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had experiences where we were sitting in a room and our parents had all of our aunts and uncles around us doing this. You know what I mean? Like little show ponies.
Right.
They can't relate. They are in a completely different planet, isolated. They're a completely different. Their empathy isn't being taught. It's being pushed on them. They don't, you get taught compassion or empathy. You have to feel these things and learn them.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll never forget, I was in 8th grade, and there was a workshop class that you went to, that taught you about, cutting woods and being the type of stuff that doesn't exist anymore, but
stuff you need in real life, right?
Make your own table, that type of stuff.
Yeah, we had shop.
Shop, home ec.
Okay.
It's like a typing class.
I was in 8th grade.
Cooking.
Yeah, and
I don't know. Remember that one?
Bake a cupcake.
I don't know how many schools still do it, right? But so I'm in this class. Now, this class, the kids who were like crippled, they had to go through that classroom to get to another classroom, right? That theirs was in.
Right.
So I'll never forget this girl. She had like the walker thing, and she had her books, and she dropped her books, and everybody in the classroom, nobody did shit except I got off my chair and I picked up her books and I gave it to her. And then I got looked at funny. And then after class was over, the kids in the classroom talked shit about me for doing that.
You're obviously dating her.
Being decent. Right.
And
I existed back then too.
And I always remember that as like, man, I think that planted a seed in the back of my mind to a certain degree that, human beings to a certain degree ain't shit, man.
Right.
With how we treat each other. And and so then further in life, the different things you experience, you begin to have sometimes a disconnect with humanity. And it's a hard thing sometimes to completely kick that out of your system. I have a hard time with it because my day job, when I'm not, at home doing this, I'm driving 8 hours a day to 10 hours a day with people. And I see the most ugly in human behavior, especially here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I was one of those people.
It's not valet, like hospitality, right? You're hospitality oriented.
Yeah, I have a theory for doing that particular job for 6 years now, that you can observe a person's driving behavior, and you can literally characterize their true character or who they are.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah, no, really,
for sure.
You're very.
Okay.
I was very aggressive. I'm way more chill now, but I was like crazy aggressive.
And I'm very defensive driving. Like I know what's going on in every quarter mile. Like I move my car.
And I'm just like whoop whoop whoop.
So,
like,
she's the one I'm watching out for.
Like I'm in a video game.
Yeah, but seriously, it's you could tell a lot about who the person is by just watching how they drive. One is going to let you know, do they have anxiety?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Do they have a rage issue?
Yes.
Right.
All that.
Aggression.
For
sure. all the things. And here's the deal.
Because I'm not like that anymore. And like you just nailed it. I was all of those things. And now I've literally been doing all this work and I'm like, why do I need to be the first person
taking a long ride home?
I don't need to be the first person at the green light.
Way home, sorry.
right.
Where the rest of my life, I was like, oh my God. Like there's some like competition going on in my head, but you're right. The anxiety, the stress, the things you don't even know are coming out. They're all coming out.
They're coming out when you 100%. Get behind the wheel of a car.
Holy mind.
Coming out when you get behind the wheel.
And so I'm around that all day, 5 days a week, and I'm just like, man. And so it can help you have a certain disposition. Like when I come home, hey man, don't ask me to go back out. I don't want to go out. I don't want to be around.
That's me.
Are there tires involved? I'm out.
I've already been out. No.
Hey man, if it ain't nothing in the refrigerator to make, you better order. You better call.
Yeah, they'll come to your house now.
Your wife is cooking for you lately. No, she is chefing it up over there for you.
That's another blessing from COVID. We got people. Everything comes to your house. I haven't gone to the grocery store in years.
I go like 3 times a week because I have to get out.
Well, my time of getting out the house truly is
over.
Going to work.
Over.
I am going to go to the but I am going to go to the movies today, and I'm going to let you guys know what I think about this movie. Now, I'm going to go see probably the most dumbest ass movie to come out.
Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear?
Damn right.
I was like,
you gotta let us know. Like seriously, message us after.
Because I tell you what, the reviews are like, it's a fucking great movie, and I was like, it's not gonna be a great movie, but you let us know.
Man.
I'm gonna go see it today.
Hey, look,
watch the Cocaine Bear podcast. Don't bet your ass.
Hey, look. When I see the movie, if you want to get back and talk to a brother, and I'll give you the rundown, please do, because I'm going in there. And I'm going to buy a big ass bowl of popcorn, buttered up, and a drink, and have me a couple of Reese's peanut butter cups on the side.
And
which
your
I don't
natural
need to
high.
Be eating.
Your natural high. I'll be back on my mind. We'll probably have mushrooms and go. Like God knows what'll happen.
And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to laugh my ass off watching this film. I just got that feeling. And
this is Ray Liotta's last film too, right?
Huh?
This is Ray Liotta's last film too, right before he died.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
I think so. Don't quote me on it, the world, or hate me for it. I'm pretty sure.
I'll forward you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But we'll
hey,
right there for your review. It's Bear.
I'm going to see Cocaine Bear today.
It's fantastic.
And look, the whole premise is because that's really based off, the true part of the story is the bear did eat the cocaine.
Right.
No, we heard that's a true story. Yeah. So we're dying to know if it's
and he was hyped up for about an hour, but I'm sure they're going to expand on that. That he,
he had kilos of cocaine, so I'm thinking an hour at least.
Man, I'm just expecting to really see some hilarious shit. Now, okay, so that's my first movie of this year that I'm going to go see.
You do about one a year.
Well, actually, no. What's that? No.
What did you say?
No. Okay, I saw Avatar last year.
What's the new
Yeah,
Avatar?
I saw Avatar. That was Avatar 2. That was a great film.
I haven't seen it.
Sonic 2.
There's an
You know,
Avatar
the thing about Avatar 2 is, guys, to me,
Don't watch
the
it.
experience. I'm just saying the experience. If you see it outside of the theater, it won't be nearly the same because that is something
sense.
you truly got to have the 3D glasses on and watch.
And a bunch of weed.
No. Surround sound.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm sure you buzzed out, but I'm already buzzed out. So I was sitting there tripping anyway, like, wow, that's amazing, that type of thing.
I think the last movie I saw was the last Marvel. The last. Oh my God, Reggie, what it's called?
Reggie stops it. We have 12 questions.
Sorry,
Wanda,
Reggie, this is Kevin.
How you doing, bro?
Kevin,
hey,
husband,
brother, how
Reggie.
you feeling, man?
Good, man.
All right.
the last Marvel one where they killed the big guy. Oh my God.
Yeah, Thanos.
Thanos.
What is it? The last one.
Oh, that was
The last
wasn't that
one
the
when they
Avengers?
killed Thanos.
Yeah.
Wasn't that with that was the end game, wasn't it?
Endgame. That's the last time
Yeah.
I saw it in the movie theater. And I brought my 9 or 8-year-old at the time, and she sat through the whole fucking thing. I was
Very
so shocked.
impressive.
And then my mother cried.
Hey, that's a good
She
movie.
cried when Iron Man died.
It was sad.
It was really
It's
sad.
really sad. Our
Hey,
last
man,
movie I discussed,
look,
Reggie,
you
because
make
I
a
didn't
brother,
remember,
when
was
you
Sonic
make a
2.
brother get misty-eyed, you did your job.
Yes.
It was good. I love getting her all worked up emotionally, man.
Mhm.
Do you feel?
All right, so check this out. You got to take your kids, but you got to take your kids next month on March 10th to see this movie. This movie looks like the ultimate fun sci-fi movie, and that's 65.
Oh, I said 36. I don't even know what the hell I came up with. That was 65. That's March 10th.
Just making up.
Yes, March 10th.
Oh, I'm
man.
totally
You gotta
lying.
take the
I
kids
just
to
saw
this.
the preview for it yesterday. I was like,
Awesome.
That's
I would do.
2 weeks.
Awesome.
Right, that's 2
You going?
weeks. So you're
Yeah.
here this weekend. That
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
we're there.
that looked like really good.
Yeah. I'm
Because-
butter
Let me just
popcorn
tell
up.
her because when I saw it, I was like,
And then we're gonna have like a movie review podcast.
yeah, this is
Yeah, that okay. So let's wait until after.
We'll do 65. You do Cocaine Bear.
And then we'll
65
swap
Cocaine
stories.
Bear. There you go.
Let me just give Gina whatever
Precedence.
precedence of it. So
Yeah.
it's the guy that played. Oh, he's in the Star Wars movie.
He was in the Star
Army.
Wars as
Yeah.
Kylo.
Ren.
Was it
Ren?
Kylo Ren?
Ren.
Yes.
Anyway, main character from those. But anyway, they land on a planet, but they're human, but it's actually Earth. They're the first humans to come to Earth.
Yep.
So that's all you got from the previews, though. Is like, so Earth is like humans come from somewhere else.
Makes sense.
I got chills. Completely possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
And
I'm in.
basically, some kind of way, maybe they go back in time through a time warp.
Could be anything.
And he doesn't know his Earth from what I gather from the trailer. And he's like, hey man, there's something alien here, and and it's dinosaurs. They're actually on Earth 65 million years ago.
Oh.
And he's shooting
like,
the
like a
dinosaurs
T-Rex.
with laser guns. And
Oh,
he's
that's
got all this
awesome.
future tech to kill
Yeah.
them.
Oh, the
It's
kids will
pretty-
love that.
See,
Yeah.
you're gonna not agree with me, I'm sure, but one of my favorite movies, and I don't know why I can't remember the name of it right now because it's probably the wine, but was the Will Smith movie with his son when they return to Earth.
What was that one
Oh,
called?
I can't remember the name of it. I fucking love Will Smith anyway, but it was
Find out.
but he
I
comes.
forgot the name of it.
Yeah, I know it was kind of corny in a lot of ways, but I really like that movie. That concept, like they're on Earth, they have to leave Earth. That humans go elsewhere, but they come back, or he ends up on Earth on accident, poisonous and poisonous. Yeah, and I really like that one. What was it called? I don't know.
The killer
After
thing
Earth.
After
about
Earth.
science, man, is that a lot of things we've seen in movies actually comes true in some kind of ways.
Oh, don't get us started. Don't get me started down the
always.
Hollywood rabbit
Every
hole.
time my brother, my sister
Man,
sent me
I believe they're informants. I believe
For sure.
they get seeds of truth, some little, maybe that much of a truth seed, right?
Yep.
And then they put all this other fictional stuff around it. But at some point in the time, you may be watching a movie going, wow, wait a minute, that felt real.
Oh,
right
like
there.
the train derailment in Ohio that every fucking inch was a movie like 3 years previous to what just fucking happened? Something
Yeah,
like that,
there you
Kevin?
go.
So
There
I
you go.
was when the first time I ever pondered this question was when I really got
More
into
wine.
Star Wars, because I enjoy Star Wars over Star.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, I enjoy Star Trek over Star Wars.
Okay.
Star Trek, because I always kept thinking, that was done like early 60s,
Yeah.
But I kept thinking, this is like a good example. Does art imitate life or does life imitate art? And it's always this constant,
constant back and forth.
Right.
Yep.
Am I influencing the art or is the art influencing the actual events?
Whoa.
That's a very Matrix type of situation.
Yeah, well, you know what's interesting is that I've come to this conclusion about this. There's people who other people in life consider being eccentric because of them being sensitive to certain things. Right. And artistry is one of those things. Now, artistry covers a vast amount of territory. It could be you and how you're able to write or report or play an instrument or act. But there's something about that. It makes you unique and different, and you seem to become sensitive to information and how it's presented to you over normal people who maybe don't possess those same kind of gifts, right? And it makes you eccentric to other people who are normal. It makes you
normal,
a weirdo because you think and feel the way that you do, and it's a rough spot, man. I was just talking to Sadie-Sha about this. I was like,
I love that you and Sadie talk about this stuff, because I mean we go back over 4 years with Sadie, but we've never gotten on this kind of wavelength. We're always talking business stuff and cannabis and hemp and all this.
Yeah.
We never talk like you're talking. Yeah. So it's cool to know that she's on a similar wavelength.
She's she's informed on. First of all, she's just this happy person that just doesn't. She doesn't like bad energy, and she doesn't want to be around that. And I don't blame her. I don't either.
Sure.
But I do have conversations with her because, first of all, she possesses talents that she hasn't fully tapped into.
Right. I can see that. Sure.
The stuff that she's doing here musically is only going to continue to get better for her. She stays on the process of getting better and better. Like already she's writing stuff that just 2 years ago, what she was writing lyrically is night and day difference.
Oh, that's awesome.
She's so she's doing some things that I'm like, okay, we have a new song called Funkotripolictic Metaphor, which we will put
We were
out
trying to pronounce it, and then
yeah, I was like, no,
we're like politics, something to do with politics.
now,
I have it written down because that is phonetically write it out.
Right. So, and I probably spelt it wrong, but I just spelt it the way I thought it should be said. But yeah, it's a Funkotripolictic metaphor. So when I sat down with her, she was like, Kevin. She's like, what? She's like, what is this? Right? And she's looking at me. She was looking at me, and I said, okay, Sadie. I said, this is the approach, right? I want you to think about all the things that you wanted to be able to say in a metaphoric way, right? But never had the platform or the means to be able to do it. That's what you need to say in this song. And it does not need to be in any particular kind of rhythm. You will worry about that when we get back in the studio. But I just really want you to focus in on what I just said. So
I'm really gonna do that for homework later tonight anyway, just to a personal level. So thank you.
Yeah. So
because the metaphor.
I put my parts on it. And then she put her parts. She came in and she said, okay, Kevin, I'm ready. I got these parts. And I said, okay. So she gets on the mic and I'm listening and I went, fuck, that's really good.
That's
I
awesome.
was really impressed, right? And the way she delivered it, and I was like, man, this lady has great potential. I don't know if she fully recognizes or understands how great she could be. And
That speaks to
Wow.
her personal growth journey
Yeah.
and being true to her, not what influences are around her, but what am I? You know,
Yep.
that there's an individual blooming, but it's
Right.
I love that.
So, and you know, that was one of the things that, you know, I had told her throughout, you know, the process of doing this was, um, I said, you know, Sadie, the deeper you get into this and you really focus in, there are going to be times you're going to feel like the most loneliest person in the world, because when you get focused in, especially with art, there's a people around you don't understand.
Sure.
It could be a loved one, it doesn't matter. They don't understand what is driving you so hard to do this. That's not an easy thing for other people to understand. Matter of fact, I'll go as far as to say that when people see that happening to you, um, they dislike it.
I would say they walk away, or they do the opposite and really double down on what an asshole you are.
Right.
Or point it out that, you know, are you sure you want to do this at your age or whatever? There's a lot of,
I've had people tell me, man, Kevin, man, you suck at this, man. You need to just be a drummer. You need to just go back out and play drums for people. I've had people straight up tell me that. And if I had listened to that shit, I wouldn't have got nominated for, you know, International Male in 2022. I
And
came in third
wouldn't
place.
be doing what you want to do, what fulfills you, what gives you
Right.
that feeling that people go through
Yes.
their life searching for. You've got
Right.
it.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
no money, no platform, nothing can replace what that does to you. And people that
Absolutely.
don't get it are never going to get it.
People that don't get it are people that can't sit down with something and turn it into art.
Mm-hmm.
They can't take the world around them and interpret it in a creative way. You know, it's very black and white. It is as it is written on paper. But they can't take an experience and turn it into a song or write a poem about it or a dance or, you know, again, it's it's really sad because it's, you know, I like to say I'm creative, you know.
Oh my God, yes.
Everything I get, I have a different way of looking at it and I want to do something different with it or I'll, you know, whatever it is. Whether it's the guitar hanging on my wall that I can't play because my nails are too long now, or like you mentioned, if you're writing a story or whatever, or you're painting. I mean, one day I just went out and bought all my shit and turned my house into a fucking gallery. That's probably a disease, but either way, you know. But I mean, it's just when you can think like that, or when you have that space for those types of things, you just see the world differently.
Yes, you do.
You really do.
See, that was the next thing.
Yeah.
Artistry of any kind, you don't view the world the same way that normal people going through the rigmarole do. You just don't. And therefore, you know, sometimes it's really hard for me to have conversations with people because we're not even remotely in the same headspace. You know what I mean? And I know I come off strange to them, man. You know, and that's okay. That's perfectly fine. I have no issue with that. But you know, sometimes I like with Blake. Blake already knows. Blake and I have done things on way bigger levels. You know, Blake was the stunt double for Eddie Murphy for many years.
That's
When
awesome.
he danced in many Michael Jackson top production videos, from Smooth Criminal to Bad. He, you know, so he knows, you know what I'm saying? And so a lot of times I just like to make sure that I prepare Sadie for what I know eventually will happen, right? And I wanted to actually let you hear some of the lyrics she
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Hold on.
This is not a motorboat affair.
Can you hear that without a distortion? Okay.
Yeah, and I can even hear the difference in her voice even right off the go.
Okay, so this is, you guys are getting a world premiere.
Yes.
This is a Funkotripolictic metaphor in its raw state. So
this is not a motorboat affair, but it is lit. This world was built to take us higher and higher. Took life from mine, ready the wire. We're supposed to inspire. You turn to desire. Your eyes see the fire. We are all provided the same 24 hours. Why worry about minds? We worry about ours. Stop to inspire, drop to the fire. See in the eyes of that neighbor they're tired. Lift each other, greater and greater.
Too close to the flame, crossfire.
With all that's flowing through your mind, you operate within time. Don't forget this metaphor. A metaphor. A metaphor.
Deep within the membranes of your mind.
A metaphor. A metaphor.
Because you realize that your reality may be a fantasy. Undo the mind.
A metaphor. A metaphor.
A light-induced tomorrow. Light-induced tomorrow.
So, you know, that's just a little bit of what's going on there. And
bass too.
Oh, the bass is fantastic.
It's so, you know, we're experimenting with some really different sounds again, you know, with some unique effects going on the voice. And
I was saying I really like the distortion of that because it's the words tying with the distortion.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it's sensitive because you're like disrupting your thoughts and distort the thoughts.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm screaming, you know, all hatred must die. And then she's saying these really cool things in between. Right. And then her voice gets distorted, leading back up to the all hatred must die. And then it gets into this cerebral type of thing going on.
It's mind music, you know what I mean? It's mind music. Again.
Yeah. So that'll be the first single people will hear from us from Manic Sound. Yes. Yep. A Funkotripolictic metaphor. That's she did a really awesome job, man. And I just love the tone of her voice on it.
That's what we were saying. I love the tone. Like it was like, you know,
you know, again, like you guys have just your entire lineup is always awesome. That sounded like somebody that I know, meaning like it wasn't prettied up for pop or something was different with that. It was more powerful.
Powerful. Yeah, like she owned it. She owned it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She came in and you know what it was? We had did she did some like she was sitting there filming when Blake was in here. He put his parts down on a song, a KingZiLLA featuring Brother Blake song called Welcome to the LV. That's a very different type of tune. So Welcome to the LV is, we're talking about the old Vegas, but yet bringing it into the now. And the music in the beginning, it's kind of ragtime with this beat. But as the music plays, it starts to get darker because what we've seen in Vegas is turning darker. No matter what anybody else thinks, the killings that have happened on the Strip, you know, and it's continuing to happen in the new parts of the Strip. It doesn't matter what part of the Strip you're at, you know, people getting stabbed and shot. They just don't report it. Wow. Right. So there's things going on in this city. you know, the city is still cool, but understand that with more money and more people moving here, the more certain things are going to become evident,
Sure.
right?
No, that's a good point. Yeah. Right. Because from tourism, a highlight only, you're only going to see the tourism-y highlights of something. When you have residents there and those numbers become bigger, different stories being told because it's their home.
That's right.
Much different.
That's right.
You know, transient people don't get the whole story because they're transient.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. So the song, by the time you get to the end of the song, the music, like there's this big piano chord that's hit at the end of the tune. And then I say, you know, on my voice, I say, welcome to the LV. And that sets the tone that something's wrong.
Yeah, like the real Vegas, the Vegas you don't know.
Right. Something's wrong.
Well, like, dun, dun, dun,
Yeah, when you got, I mean, man, Blake tap danced because he's a tap dancer. He did a tap dance section in it.
That's awesome.
Sadie lent her voice in it, you know, with a chant we did at the end of the song together, and it just builds. So I have that tune. The next KingZiLLA featuring Blake song that comes out will be a song called, all right, so this is another tongue twister for you.
How you guys do that?
Yeah. Okay, so you ready for this one? All right, so this song is called Sucker Puss Delicious Lollipop Adventure.
Well, I like
Sucker Puss Delicious Lollipop Adventure.
But see, I like the original Sucker Puss, so that's the original.
Yeah, this is like part 2.
Okay.
Sucker Puss
I was like, I'm an original fan. Thank you.
This is
Sucker Puss.
Yeah, I did a lot of the vocals myself. Sadie came in, she helped me out. Blake, of course, you know, he raps in the second verse. And it's, you know, let me tell you guys something, man. You know, it's when you're doing everything yourself, like mixing, making sure it's sounding the best that you could get it. It's rough, man, you know, because I'm not an engineer. I'm just going off what sounds good for me, but I also have to make sure that it is sounding good to other people on the different systems. And that's a very difficult thing to accomplish.
Well, especially if you're learning these systems, like I'm assuming you're self-taught, right? On the soundboard and shit. So
self-taught, and it's like you know, it's rough. You know, I'm not gonna lie to you, but we just don't have the budget to hire a pro mixing engineer and mastering. So I just do the best that I can. And when we have hired some people, we don't like what we hear. That, you know, you get the stuff back and you're listening to it and you've paid this money and you're like, man, I don't like it.
Yeah, and you're not staying independent to not like what you hear.
Right. And so,
especially when you've done things on your own for a long time, it's really hard to have somebody else come up.
It's hard, man, because I'm listening to it. I'm like, nah, that's not gonna fly. And
why don't you give me that so I can edit that? Thanks.
And then what happens is, you know, the team, Blake and Sadie, they'll be like, well, you know, we like your version better. And I'll go like, yeah, but I don't like this person's neither.
Right.
You know, and it's rough, you know, because fidelity wise, you want things to sound great. But I always remember something that someone told me, and they said, Kevin, you can record a song on $1 million worth of equipment, but if the song is a turd, it's just a polished turd. But if you've written something that is a good song and it wasn't mixed as great as it could be or mastered, he goes, there's something about it that's still going to shine through.
Right. That's true.
And so I took that to heart, and I'm like, yeah, man, because a lot of those songs that Radio Wigwam have played, you know, I personally didn't feel they were mixed up to the best that they could have been, right? But it was something about those songs, they still shined through, right? So
right now, half people won't even know those are mixed. I mean, they wouldn't even have the comprehension of that, how it's delivered. You know what I mean?
right.
You know?
And like I don't know if you can really see this very clearly, but like when I'm normally in this particular program, I set up the sound processors on what is actually mastering. So a lot of people don't do it this way. They say not to do it this way. But for me, with having this on, then I kind of tune things to where with this end result plugin, it ends up sounding somewhat in the right ballpark. Because what I've done before, is you're sitting there, you're mixing, and you're getting certain things going on with the drum bus or the vocal bus, and then you feel like, oh, the mix sounds great, and then you have it mastered, and it sounds like a freaking disaster because maybe you had high frequencies. It sounded great for the mix, high frequencies, upper highs, or certain mids a certain way. And then, man, you're like, oh, that don't sound good.
Nah, I only play with like Audacity because that's about my skill level.
Yeah, I just, I'm learning all of this stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot.
We just, Blake and I just released a new song called Speed.
And
I've heard
I was gonna say Lo was just asking about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've listened to it across different systems. And it's really interesting, man. Some of the systems, I love how it sounds coming through there. That was a very difficult song to do, right? Because there's this certain thing we were going for. And the kick drum and all that stuff have some really subsonic lows hitting, right? So I bought these new headphones, those new earbud things.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, let me hear how the song sounds. I listened to it in there. I didn't freaking like it. Now, I listen to other people's music in there. I'm like, oh, that sounds great. But I'm talking about something like Red Hot Chili Peppers, where they got the top engineers, the top mastering facility. And these guys are expensive, so they can make it sound good coming across any kind of platform. Right.
Like, but 1983 boombox solid.
right. So, in the studio here, when I tested on my little boom box here and my headphones and everything, it was like great. Blake thinks it's great. Some people have commented they think it's great. So it really does come down to how well people will perceive the song getting past some of the stuff that I'm complaining about, right? Which the only thing I'm complaining about is the fidelity of my capabilities right now. You always got to be honest with yourself. You always got to be honest with yourself, and you always have to go, yo, man, I got to get better.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing when you have something in your head, like you vision it and you see it, but the technical stuff doesn't get you there. So it's like you just never, and that's one of my biggest things. It's like I'll work on a project forever because it's like in my head. I don't know exactly, but it's got to get there. Until it gets there, I can't even like let it go.
I know what you're saying.
Hard.
Yeah.
I'm somebody that is like less like
I do not know what you're saying.
Yeah. So, no, I meant
nor do I want to know what either of you are saying.
Like if I hand something over to Gina, she's less critical of it. You know what I mean? Because she's got a different set of eyes on it. Right. It's just not as I'm like, yeah, but that type font is like not. I mean, it's like completely different place, and it's.
I understand. I totally get what you're saying. It makes you feel. But I also understand Gina's point.
But I'm probably the average.
I also understand her point of view because for her, maybe she listens to it, so she may not know. Well, I don't hear or understand what you're hearing, that maybe the bass is too boomy or maybe this. All I know is I like the song.
I'm moving. It's making me move. Like that's how I know I like it.
Things, yeah, even if all the things were perfect in the song, right? Or what we're talking about fidelity wise, if the song comes on and she goes, yeah, man, I ain't feeling that, man. I don't like that shit.
Yeah.
There it is.
Right.
You just don't know. you know,
They
and
don't, because some people are listening into it for that experience, that sound experience. Like I'm a definite bass person.
Yeah, me too.
There doesn't have to be a word in a song.
Right.
Like, if the music is like
If
how
it hits,
I want
hits.
it hits.
Yeah.
I'll play it for 20 years like I heard it the first time every time. It's crazy.
yeah.
But there's other songs where I just want to hear the words of it, and I'm not. My ears aren't even hearing
the instrumental.
And see, that's another thing I battle with sometimes. You know, are the vocals
matching the
sitting
sound.
maybe too on top, or do I need to bring them down to where it's being cushioned with other stuff in the surrounding of it, but you could still audibly hear what's being said. Now, that's a debate that goes on all the way to the top with the big record labels.
Right.
They may get a mix and master of their artists, and they're like, "Well, I feel the vocals should be louder, or I feel the vocals should come down."
Right.
You know, it's that's always going to be an ongoing, debatable thing. You know.
So you should feel really good about that, because while you're dealing and struggling with that, everybody is dealing and struggling with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not individually, maybe there's teams of people doing it together and taking that load, but still, it's the same problem, right?
Yeah.
Same thing, same decision. But again, that's part of the artistry of it too.
Yeah, it's yeah, man, it's a constant learning thing.
Yeah.
Constant.
That's so
You know,
cool.
and I'm always you know, figuring out the best way to do something. I hear stuff in my head so differently, you know, like with this new tune. I was explaining to Sadie, I said, now look, there's going to be these distortions on the vocals, and I'm going to be screaming, and then I'm going to have you say this, and then I'm going to distort your voice. I don't want you to scream, but I can make it sound like you're distorted and screaming. And then I'm going to pan you left and right, and you know, and she's looking at me, and she just was like, "Ah, cool."
Okay,
you know, but
the end result, man.
But it really didn't hit her until I sent her like a demo of it.
Right.
Then that's when it was like, oh, that's awesome. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes it's about showing people and talking less about it, because the talk can go into a place of not understanding what you're talking about.
Right. Real, Kevin, the talk is for you to like reassure yourself.
Yeah, I would get lost in the talk, right? Like an outsider, for sure.
And that would be me like saying something like that. I'd be like to make it make sense to me, because now I'm telling somebody else. Does it make sense still?
Right.
It makes sense to me now still too.
Right.
Yeah. But she ended up liking it, man. She
I love
liked
it.
it.
I can't wait to hear the whole.
I mean, when you have the headphones on, it sounds really banging. And of course, there's some things that I'll be fooling around with, you know, it before the release of next month.
Well, keep us posted so we can share it.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I Blake is coming in, I think Tuesday or Wednesday, and he's going to actually rap in the bridge.
Nice.
Which this beat gets really big and distorted sounding, and it's a trip. And then he's going to come in and that, and then then Sadie comes in. She'll finish the last bit of the last outro stuff, and then I could go into post so that we could put it out. We definitely want it out next month, like towards the end of next month.
Awesome. Good timing.
Yeah, so much songs that's been written. We've got 20 KingZiLLA featuring Brother Blake songs to put out this year.
Wow.
We have 10 Manic Sound Expulsion songs. So Sadie and I are just trying to get all that together, because you know she still has her businesses and stuff to run.
Sure, right.
And so it's not like, you know, we could sit in here every day, all day, and just, you know.
Right, yeah.
So when she's here, I make every bit of the time count.
Awesome.
And
the
so
wigwam takeovers, is that going to become a regular thing where you guys go in and do the takeovers, or
they ask us if we want to do it, and we put something together.
That's
You
so
know,
cool.
and I'm like, yeah, hey, cool, you know, more
Yeah,
exposure. So I
right.
have fun doing it. You know, I'm sitting there on this mic right here, you know, and it's picking up all the, you know, the low frequencies, and I'm like, we'll be right back.
It's definitely sometimes like NPR, you know, that real candlelit night
Late night,
moment.
late night, the
Yeah.
after dark.
Yeah, man, and she's
Grown
all
folk time.
bubbly. She's all
Yeah.
bubbly, you know, she's talking in it. And then I'm like, yeah, right on. We'll be right back.
Very white out.
Yeah.
It's funny,
Oh my
man.
god, whenever I think
But
about
I
you
have a
guys,
lot
I
of
think
fun.
about like, I don't know, man.
You
Like,
guys just play off each other so well. Like, you know, it goes so well together. Like I love it.
Yeah, I
Meshes-
have fun. I
meshes
have fun with
perfectly.
Sadie. And you know what's funny? When Blake was here, that was the first time all three of us was in the room at the same time, believe it or not, for two and a
Wow.
half years.
I mean,
years.
you guys have had like
Wow.
15, 20 songs come out together.
Yeah, well, and you
Yeah.
know, because you know what happened was he became a long haul truck driver.
Okay.
So I send him the songs. So when he goes before he goes to sleep at night from you know running the truck, he's writing.
Oh, yeah.
So when he comes into town for 2 or 3 days, he's like, "Okay, Kev, I'm ready to come in the studio and
Let's
drop it."
go. Yeah.
Bam, and that's how we've
Okay.
been working for over the
Wow.
last 2.5 years. And so this particular time, I was like, "Hey, Sadie, um, Blake's gonna be here." She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be there." So she came and
Nice.
she was standing right over there, right? And and he was over here on the mic, and he's doing yeah, welcome to the LV. And man, he's spitting fast like some outcast stuff. And you know, I'm sitting there in this chair and you know, I'm digging it. So, you know, I've got this kind of thing going on. And when we get done, she's like, "That was awesome." And I think that really helped inspire her for a Funkotripolictic metaphor because right after
Awesome.
that, I introduced the song to her, and man, she came in, and I was like, "Okay." She was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So you never
She
know,
was
man. How
inspired.
she
Yeah.
was inspired.
Inspired.
I
We
could
like,
tell.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
could tell,
That's
man, with
awesome.
what she came in the studio and she laid down.
Yeah.
That was cool, man. That was very cool.
When you're with
So
your
I'm like,
tribe and you are motivated, that is what happens.
It's as good as it gets.
It's as good as it gets.
yeah. Now there's the next song after this one we're gonna work on and put out is a song called Joe. And ladies, you gotta be careful on the internet because you got celebrities running scams.
Sure.
Oh,
We had a run-in with Fat Joe,
did you know?
and where he was this guy named DJ. His name was DJ John, right? And DJ John approaches me, you know, with the direct message thing, and he's like, "Yo, man, you know, was checking you out and like the you know the production and all this stuff, and we was just wondering if you would be interested in you know being sponsored to eventually work with Fat Joe."
Okay.
And yeah, well, you know, Fat Joe isn't dub funk. He's not really our thing, right?
Right.
I kept talking with the guy. And so eventually it just got to the point where I'm like, yeah, he getting ready to try and get some money from us. And sure enough,
That was the next thing.
and hey man, you know, this came directly from Fat Joe, and he's showing some text message that I guess where he was responding back and forth with Fat Joe and trying to make it out like, well, did he get a sponsor ticket? And that's when I went, yeah, screw you, and I blocked the guy.
Yeah, no, no, you're smart. You know it's up, you know.
Yeah, I blocked him at that
Heck,
point.
Joe, know you're
But
screenshotting his text messages, asshole. No.
you know what I'm saying? You know, and look, I'll be the first one, man. Instagram is a dangerous place with people sending you shit. I could do this for you. I could do that, and it's scams. It's straight up scam. And the killer thing about this is we went on like YouTube, we went on to some different places, and come to find out, Fat Joe waited months to make a public announcement to say, well, I'm not really affiliated with this. There was some kid out of Ohio. He paid $1,500 for a sponsor ticket. Drove all the way down to, I think it was Florida or somewhere like that. Thinking that he was going to meet up with Fat Joe and all this shit. And he gets down, and man, them people wasn't real. Wasn't real. Now, this guy that came at me, DJ John, you know, he's saying that he worked with Hot 97 point whatever.
Right.
And that, you know, he works in the background and all this stuff. And I was like, yeah, okay. And again, as soon as he dropped the bomb on, well, you need to do a sponsor ticket. I was like, block. You know, hey, look.
That artist is that kids that are younger than us don't realize that people that do business don't do business like that.
Right.
They don't know because their whole world is digital. Like they have no fucking clue how real things happen in real life. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they couldn't identify a scammer. If there's a picture of Cardi there, there's a message like Cardi, and the B's got a second period. Like they don't catch shit like that. They don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. You know. So I mean, it's just one of those things, man. You know,
That's crazy.
yeah, man, it's just so scam. So I mean, even like, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but it just gets on my nerves, right? You make a post, and I understand now why people on Instagram do reels or they do the story opposed to the actual like posting something, because you post. I have these bots up the yin yang instantly. They're on my ass with, hey man, promote it on boo 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 boo.
Yeah, DM me here, right? No, exactly. Us too.
I can't stand it. And you know what I do? I don't care if it makes my page not look, you know, a certain way. I delete them. I go right in and go block this person and any other account they make.
Yeah.
Because you're not real.
Right.
You're not real. Your comment is not real. You know. If I want to promote something through you, I'll seek you out. I'll look up information on you. I don't need
the pages they tag are like huge pages. You know, the pages they tag has like 1 million followers. Like they're really going in deep. Like it's
yeah. And a lot of that is probably fake. You know, that's why Instagram, I believe, doesn't show anymore how many likes a person has gotten on what it is they show. Here's the reason why I think they do this. It's not that they're concerned about it making another person feel bad. Right. They're concerned about people who are actually waking up going, this shit's fake. For example, if you are of great celebrity status and it says you have 1.2 million followers, and you post something, now 1.2 million followers now, and you post something and only 10,000 people liked it. Yeah.
Right.
I know, you're right.
Right.
Come on, man. 1.2 million people are following you, and you only got 10,000 likes.
Oh, right. Not even 0.01%.
A person like me, that wakes me up and goes, hey, man, the numbers are off.
Yeah, no, this is real. Right.
This is right.
Right. You should have anywhere from 200,000.
I was gonna say at least 100,000 plus.
450,000 likes.
Right.
Right on what it is you post. If you've got 1.2 million people following,
you're still only talking 10% plus, and they're not.
Right.
They're at a percent.
Right.
You know, like no, it's ridiculous.
To say, like, how do those algorithms even work? Like, if I follow 500 people, I'm probably going to see 5 people that I follow shit a day.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Hey, I totally get what you're saying.
The numbers they're not working for you unless you're paying for it.
No, there it is. Unless you're paying for it.
Unless you're paying for it.
Yeah, right. And it's a whole lot of them. Man, I can't tell you how many DMs I get a week. Hey, I was looking at your page and your content, man. Oh, it's great. Let me help you by bringing more followers to your page. And I go, bullshit, delete.
Right.
I mean, Exactly, because they're not true people. They're not going to actually promote.
So my 14 sugar daddies this week are not legit?
12 of them were.
Well, you know what's bad. You know what's bad for you women. You know what's bad for you women is that you could put a picture of yourself in any kind of way, and some sick fuck is going to sit there, DM you some picture of his growing, and think that shit's cool.
Lois has gotten that, like literally next to a Pringles can. She sends it to me. She's like, "What the fuck am I supposed to do with this?"
And that was
like,
somebody I actually
that was
know.
like a business professional, literally.
That's somebody we actually know and bought product from.
Mm-hmm.
You can't make this
If
shit
you're
up.
watching, that was naughty.
You know who you are.
Naughty.
You know who you are, Pringles.
That's what we called him for like 2 years.
He was Pringles.
Pringles.
Yeah, well, and Sadie gets it all the time. We talk about it all.
Oh my! I can only imagine what Sadie gets. Holy shit!
And I'm like,
I actually manage a couple of their pages. It's like we're like on there, so yeah, I know.
Filthy.
It's a lot of shit.
Filth and flarn and filthy flarn.
Plenty of
man, look, I mean, now some women probably like the attention, but I'm willing to say that a lot of women didn't ask or want you to send them a picture of yourself.
No, you know, because we would ask for it.
There you go. And so, I mean, these guys, and again, you don't have to be in a picture with a string going up the crack of your ass for them to do it. You can be fully clothed.
No, you could just smile that day.
The smile can do it. And all of a sudden, man, you open up and you're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah.
Of course, I'll have a Pringle. Thank you.
Thanks for reaching out today.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Just to throw that out, there was the party size Pringle.
Yeah, just not your average Pringle count, okay?
He was really proud of himself. God gave him.
There's a lady I've known for a long time, right? We used to go to this church together, and over the years she has developed some brain issues, right? Like her body has really broken down. It has really altered her life, and so part of what the doctors wanted her to do was to lose weight. Right. And she's been really losing weight because it helps with the condition that she has. And man, she was expressing to me, she said, man, this clown, I only took the picture of me losing the weight. Now she's in a dress. Nothing sexual about it.
Right.
But and he went full left. And took a picture, and she was really upset and pissed off about it, and rightfully so.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I just was like, well, hey, don't let it get under your skin, that type of thing.
And
I mean,
don't give them any attention. That is the biggest thing. Like, don't even respond. Don't give them nothing.
Exactly.
Because that's all they're looking for. Right.
Actually block them. You can block them.
Right, immediately. There's no response, no fucking off even, like nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, you could block them.
Yep.
I had to do that to a lady, believe it or not, from the Middle East.
Oh,
she sent me. I'm like, oh shit. Delete.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
Right.
Like, what the fuck?
I'm married happily. Thank you.
Yeah, I didn't ask for you to do that picture.
No.
I don't, so.
And my blog list is a mile long.
Very long, 4 or 5 pages.
So, but I don't think it happens to men as much as it does to the women.
Sure.
It's a different thing.
Look at Lois.
I was going to say,
look at Lois. She's.
I was going to say, for different reasons, though. I think most men get solicited for that. I don't know.
What can you do for me?
Well, they're not real though. It's Tammy Lynn, and follow me on Instagram. And it's her in her bikini or whatever. So she's.
Oh, right.
Not really Tammy though. I mean, who knows? But still, different reasons. Where a guy that's doing that is not doing that because he wants you to follow him on Instagram. Like he's just missing that part of his brain that is that appropriate or not?
He would like you inside his body.
You know,
You
but
do it inside your
women,
body.
you know, women that do that kind of instant messaging thing with sensuality, they want a financial reward or something in the end from that.
Right.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. Yeah, it's to
Very-
get you to go and sign up on some monthly.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It always, because I get those from girls all the time too. Like, I mean, I just get them in my box,
Sure.
and especially on Instagram. You know, like,
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, but you know, again, I can identify what that is. It's not.
Yeah, Instagram can be a dangerous place, guys.
Yeah.
You just got to be careful on there because there is constant activity on trying to hustle someone out of money. That's another new song that Blake and I have. It's called Everyday Hustle, Everyday People. And it's a really cool tune. But yeah, it's one of them things, man.
Yeah.
One of those things where the hustle is real for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
that's how
I'm just like, who the fuck's buying this stuff still? But hey, they're out there because they're still doing it.
Yeah.
You know, the internet has created many ways that you didn't have before to scam and scheme and get money out of somebody.
And be a little piggy.
little piggy. Yeah, little bad boy.
Well, you know, that's like I had this was like over a year ago, right? I had this situation happen to me where this lady, I checked her out. She really was from XXL magazine, and XXL magazine, a lot of publications like that have went digital, right? Because people don't buy the books like that like they used to.
Right.
So they'll have like a online monthly subscription thing now, you know, how you could have access to it. So now they've opened up the floodgate to where you could be an undiscovered artist, but you could pay to have a spot in the magazine.
Oh, wow.
Right? Because the revenues don't come in like it used to where they just featured the big record label guys. Man, they'll feature someone, and you know, if you're good enough, man, you got the money, they'll put you in the magazine.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So this particular lady, she had quoted me a certain price about being interviewed in the magazine. So I said, okay. And then instantly she came back at me with, okay, you also have to pay for this. And then you have to pay for that. And I went, I said, oh, man. I said, don't do that shit to me. Straight up in the DM. I said, so that's cool. You just hustled me, right? Because when you do business with someone, right, you tell people up front, this ain't no AutoZone fucking I'm buying a car shit. Right? Okay, this is what is the price? What is the taxes? What is everything else that's involved with this? Okay, then we go from there and bam, it's a done deal. So she said, no, you don't understand. I said, oh no, I understand really well. You're fucked up and you fucked with the wrong guy. So, and I said, if you try and contact me again, I'm going to report you. So I blocked her. And this was with researching the woman. She really did work for there, right? But I didn't like how she handled the business. Right. I couldn't get that money back, right? But she was trying to lay out all this other stuff that I had to pay for the final thing to go through. Right.
Yeah.
So
exactly. That's shitty. Right.
Yeah, you know, and so you just have to be like, nah. So like now, man, I verify and verify and verify. You know, and even still, you don't know. You're not sitting across the desk from this person to really get, you know what I'm saying? So, and at the end of the day, again, you know, you could get into you could get a feature for yourself in Rolling Stone magazine, how they're set up now.
Wow.
And you have to pay for the spot.
If you were going to have that paper book in your thing, there's only so many spots and so many things. The digital is it's unlimited. Limited possibilities, limited viewers, and that's the hardest challenge, and that's why you got rolled in like that, because there's no place for that type of marketing anymore. You know, there's no part of that. The reason why Rolling Stone used to write about this band is because that band has had a concert, and that's what happened at that concert, and that's what they're doing in their business, and it's all reversed now. Everything is digital. There's no. It sucks. But again, it's a place for you where you're at mindset wise, because again, it's an ocean and everybody's trying to get the coin on whatever it is that they find.
Absolutely. You know, so with that, you know, and especially even from that experience, what I learned was, okay, what pond can we dive in and swim in and become the big fish? Instead of diving into a big ocean where there's huge fucking fish.
Right.
We're this little fish trying to make some kind of noise. And so for me, it ended up being Radio Wiggin. They have really shown us a lot of love, man. And I'm very appreciative about it. Man, they have showed us a lot of kindness. I mean, we didn't start putting songs up on that platform until August of last year. So from August to December, do you know there were over 1,000 artists they listened to put in that category of international male artists? And for us to have come into third place, right? From August to the end of the year, that says a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, that says a lot.
Huge. It says a lot. And again, what is that doing? It's doing a lot for a lot of things. Personally, I'm sure. But again, you're building a presence and people are getting to know you and the group for what your visions are, where you're at mentally, you know, what you're trying to do. So don't get tied up on that screen behind you and where it's hitting. You know what I mean? Because it's
It's hitting.
Right. Yeah, it's hitting. And being in the right place allows you to do that. You know what I mean? Get you the visibility. You know? Because, you know, honestly, people like places like that, again, it's about people that are looking for actual music, you know, and the artist.
Right. And that's the whole thing about Radio Wigwam. You're going to hear some stuff that you're going to love. You're going to hear some stuff that you don't love. But at least it's pure artistry. These guys are these bands, these artists, they're putting their soul and heart into what they're creating, man. I just think it's a beautiful thing, man, to be involved with what they offer. And here's the whole thing. They're not asking for money from you.
Right.
They listen to your song and go, okay, we'll put you on. It sounds like crap and it's not up to their standard. They don't put you on. And that's what I really like about Radio.
And they're realizing who their audience is, and they're going to serve their audience the meal they want. You know. And that's where you have to. That's finding your home, finding places like that where you can sit at the table with that. They've already done the work on building listeners. You know what I mean? So if you're there, that means the people are liking what you're spitting out.
Exactly.
So, you throw yourself, you know, on a channel of Britney Spears. I don't know.
Not the same.
Not the same. Same result.
Yeah, well, you know, hopefully we could plan a trip over there to London at the end of the year, beginning of next year.
Yeah.
That's something that all three of us have discussed.
Nice.
Cool.
I know that this summer I'll be putting together a live set for Blake and I to start, you know, rehearsing with, and we'll go through our catalog, which our catalog is pretty vast. So
a lot going on. That's for sure.
There's a lot of songs, picking what songs to play live. And what I'll be doing is I'll be the only musician you'll see on the stage, because through my electronic drums, I'm a one-man band. So I'll have some acoustic drums, but it'll mostly be this. So check this out. Let me explain this real fast. This is really cool. Well, let me see. I'm kind of in a weird position. Okay, well, you see those circular round electronic pads?
Yeah.
Okay, so just figure that each pad is a zone. So the black part, that's zone 1.
Okay.
Then when you look around where the silver is, there's a split in the rubber that becomes 2 more zones. So each pad is 3 zones. Now what that means is let's just say the actual black part, zone 1, I put the backing track, right, to say like a song like 2 Tribes. So when I hit that pad once, it starts playing that sequence.
Right.
I hit it again, it stops it. So say like I want to do a DJ effect where it's like the song goes dum 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 dum. So I go dum 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 dum, and then it plays. Now then on the other 2 zones, I have other samples while I'm playing my main beat, right? So now I can hit another zone. I'm flying in something that you didn't hear on the record.
Oh my gosh.
While Blake is rapping. So now we're remixing the song and giving the listener a new production value live.
That's cool.
So
I've never seen it on the drums. I've only seen it done with a guitar before.
Yeah.
And it's on the ground and they're pulling it, but that's
cool. And you know why I chose to go that way? Because Blake asked me, he said, well, we're going to have a band on it. I said, hell no, we're not doing the band thing.
All right here.
You're looking at the band.
We're not doing all of that. I said, the youth of today relates to seeing a DJ, whoever the rappers or lead singer is, right? So why not bring that same experience, except what I'll be doing through the drum kit and what you'll be doing up front. So that brings it closer to something that they can relate to. The musician thing is my generation's thing, your generation's thing.
Yeah,
you see the musicians up there and the drummers rocking out and the guitar players playing all these solos, but the young people, they don't relate to that.
Right. That's
Matter of fact,
those are a lot.
I only got 15% left of my battery, so we're gonna.
We're busting into 2 hours. That's how we do it here.
Yeah. Okay, let me just finish this because I know it's gonna die here. So, okay. So the whole thing is that I saw this thing where they took a bunch of young kids, and they had to listen to Led Zeppelin songs. Now there was this one kid. He looked straight up like a stoner. Like, yeah, dude, rock and roll, and at the end he was the main one saying, I don't like the sound of real instruments.
Wow.
I like the sound of fake instruments. You would have never believed by this kid's appearance that he would have said that.
I would never.
But he was into, I like electronic sounding instruments. And I went, wow, you definitely can't judge a book by the cover. Because looking at that kid, I would have thought he was the biggest AC/DC Led Zeppelin fan of all. And he couldn't stay. He goes, that's my dad's music. I don't like that.
Wow.
My electronic.
And so there you go. That was a big lesson for me. I was like, okay.
Never mind.
Thanks, kid.
Right.
I'm like,
but hey,
dinosaurs, not we're the dinosaurs, whatever.
That's all right.
But hey, I know my phone's getting ready to die.
Yeah,
look, ladies,
thank you.
I love you. Happy New
you.
Year to you. Blessings to your family and everything.
Yours
Let's get back together and discuss Cocaine Bear.
Yes, we're bringing the popcorn. Have your popcorn ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're doing Cocaine Bear.
I will. I've got an actual popcorn machine out in the hallway.
Kevin, it's on in March. It's on in March.
For sure.
It's out in March.
We're going to be grabby for a few minutes. We're doing it.
All right. Thank you. Kev. So good to see you.
Much.
All right. It's good talking to you guys. Hey, man. Peace and blessings, okay?
You as well.
All right. We'll be in touch.
Bye-bye.
All right, later. All right, bye.
All right, we got to do our little extra, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. Kevin's out. You.
We will figure this out.
We're going back in sideline. I don't think I can pick something out. Oh, there we go. Participants.
No. Oh, maybe there. Remove.
Bye.
Oh, guys. I can't imagine any of you are still left here after 2 hours, but we're still
We
here.
started at 2 o'clock. Oh, it is almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
We'll have
Guys,
some added
that's
in
how much we
there.
love Kevin. First of all,
Oh yeah.
happy 2nd anniversary to the Hempy Hour. Whoop-de-whoop. This is the season opener for season...
Cuatro.
Yes, guys, that's how long we've been around. We're going way back.
Way back. How
Okay.
many people you know have podcasts for 4 seasons?
Not many. Okay. Suck on that, Joe Rogan. Okay, so whether you are
Watching us
or listening to us, we appreciate you. Kevin, thank you so much. Can't wait for our movie night in March.
I am so excited.
And have an amazing day. One love.